Okay, just to show you a little bit about what I'm looking for, the the blue line here, or blue shaded area, that means we're in an uptrend. That means the 9, the fast moving average, is above the slow moving average, which is a 20 simple. And when vice versa, there it's below, it's in a downtrend. You can see that this was a very sharp move up because it was a gap up on Sunday night, but immediately gave it up. And as we got established in this downtrend, somewhere in the middle here was an ideal short, but a short was definitely set up as we did the stop or pause at the prior lows from Friday, and then we picked up movement to the downside from 25,015 to ultimately much lower, but on this first go round, picked up about 25 ticks, so that wasn't too bad. So the idea is for us to break above or below significant support or resistance levels, want to be in the direction of the trend, and prefer to have the momentum oscillators that you see here at the bottom coming from an either oversold down to, overbought to oversold area, so decreasing values. The R squeeze, which is a Bollinger Band squeeze, that would be nice to also be pointing downwards for the downside and vice versa for an uptrend. Okay, you can see how we broke below 975 the other night, that's last night. And it did kind of wobble around here and ultimately resolved itself down to 955. Sometime around 11:30 last night, we did a little bit of a rally. It got up, but it couldn't get very much going. Then around the time that Germany and the UK wake up, they said, none of this stuff, we're going to go down. You see the cross here, which is a sell signal in this case, could be a buy if your cross is going to the upside. And the little dots here, the small black dot is target number 1, the medium-sized dot is target number 2, and the larger size dot is target number 3. The black dots up here represent the stop, and the stop is usually above the prior swing level, as you can see with the three red dots. And for this one, it was pretty healthy. The risk was 32 ticks. So you're talking $160 or so. But the reward was, if you made it all the way, it was 25, 38, and 52. Well, made 25, target 1. No way you made either of the other two targets. So just because the target's out there and I get a high risk reward, a reward to risk out there, it's all a relationship, and you have to decide whether it's going to go. I can guarantee you that I never expected to do anything other than go back down to 980. So maybe target 1 was about all you were going to get. Then we went into chop. You can see how we get the crisscrosses here. We got a little bit of an incline, and that's where we are at the moment. Okay, that kind of gives you an overview of what you're seeing on the charts and what I'm trying to trade with and from. But we're in chop mode here. I'm using a Renko chart, Renko. I'm going to adjust this one upwards just a little bit. What are you running on your system, Chris? Thanks, David. Flat as a pancake. You have Ninja Trader? Do you have Thinkorswim, MetaTrader, TradeStation? What you got, Chris? NT7. Okay. I transitioned to Ninja Trader 8, and I love it. There's only one thing in Ninja Trader um, Ninja Trader 7 that I really like that I wish that they'd have kept in 8 is that when you want to go over and change Chart Trader on or off, it was a one button click. Well, I stayed away from 8 for the longest time. One, I didn't want to be the guinea pig and running into all the problems that are going out there. And then I had a lot of indicators that were on 7 but not on 8 yet. Now I think that's resolved itself. I moved over as much because I'm on a um, I can trade in my Thinkorswim stock account by using their data feed on NinjaTrader 8 and could not do that on 7. So I've got a multi-broker license. Chart Trader. See, if I click on that, I've got off trader and hidden. I've got it on hidden. So you guys, when I initiate a trade here off camera, you can actually see it. Okay, we're off and running. But Chris, why don't you give me a PM with your email, and I'll send you what I've got for Ninja Trader 7. I actually put that together last week for someone who asked. Yeah, we try to help. I also have a generic version that's very similar to what I've got here. It doesn't have the net picks, counterpunch trader stuff where it nominates entry points and targets. Those are missing, but we're working on that. Okay, the NASDAQ is basically at the highs of the day. Looking at that, but getting a little bit overbought. We got a buy signal, the NASDAQ, on the 10-4. All right, that's a breakup over this level here of 30.50.
Order filled.
I may regret this one. I normally don't try to get in on the first 2 minutes. Try to give it a little bit of room in case it wants to go. And our first targets will be up around 73.81, I think that is. 61. I didn't put my glasses on yet. And you can see here where I got in, where my entry is, my stop, my targets, and you can see these live. You're looking over my shoulder. Now, the momentum oscillators were a little bit pushing to the high side already, but I'm loath to pass up an entry on this. I think, we've got the trend going up, momentum are going up. The R squeeze is starting to thin out just a little bit, so we'll have to see how this goes. I do have a R squeeze, a indicator here that tells me I should probably have sold on a 610, but I'm working on a 1014. I'm looking at 2 time frames. I'm going to try to give this a little bit of room here at the beginning of the day. May live to regret it. Yeah, we're down 12 ticks already, so Yeah, we're again gave it a little bit of room, and it's just kind of trying to decide whether it wants to go higher or go back down. Momentum is still pointing up. The R squeeze is just a little on the weak side. Trend is still good, so I'll try to bear with it. Now, if I could get up and break out above the to a new opening range high today, I can start to raise my stop a little bit more. Here's the volatility stop here, 45.50. And just trying to give it some room, give it time to breathe. It's a double-edged sword. That's also given it time to go back down quite a bit. And we got the mid-range already here at 47. So we got pretty much an established range there. And it looks like we're going to try to roll back over. The R squeeze is going down. And looking a little on the weak side. Okay.
Order canceled. Order filled.
I've had enough. I lost 20 ticks on that one. What I probably should have done was entered a little closer to the cross. Maybe let it pull back. What I normally like to do is let it break up, break down, and do what I call the lightning bolt pattern. Okay. Now you guys cannot see. For some reason, the people here at, okay. Okay, this one looks like on the NASDAQ. Now, why am I focusing only on the NASDAQ? Okay, looks like the markets are trying to go lower. I'm going to let this thing punch through this way and let it get down maybe to a level around 35 and then hopefully come back up and bounce and give us another entry. The old lightning bolt pattern would be something like this. Where you come down in, you do this, and you do that. That's what I call the lightning bolt. Okay, so what I'm looking for is a bounce up above the level for the short. The weakest of the weak markets will not come back up there and give me the entry. Most of them do, and then I'll get established in a downtrend, and I can do that. So, thanks for explaining the recordings and listening and waiting. Okay, great, Joseph. Chris, I don't know what the two minute bracket, I don't know what that is. And Lincoln, I'm not sure. Okay, we get here.
Order pending.
Whoops, whoops, whoops.
Order canceled.
I don't want two, I want one.
Order filled.
All right, there we go. All right, I've gone short before the system told me I should. That's good. That means it's confirming what I see here. I'm looking for probably 73.24 half or so. And trend is down, momentum is down, R squeeze is down. We're getting a little bit of a reaction just right here about this 73.28 level. Not surprised. And let's see if we could get going down there. Gotta give it some room. We got the Mexican jumpy beans out there today. It's normal for the beginning of the day. You know, we're only 8 minutes into the market. We get down here towards the bottom. I got to be aware if we get a reversal either at it or before it. We had prior levels of about 27.75 over here to the left overnight. So not surprised that we're seeing some buying in there. And let's get close to all right.
Order filled.
Yeah, we didn't quite get our first level. We did get a reaction off the bottom. I did, but I did go ahead and cover on the bounce, and probably not a good idea. Frank G may want to restart. Okay. We are going to get a bounce around here. Sometimes it's before the levels, sometimes it's after the levels. It reacted from the delay between me actually seeing the initial bounce and the exit was about a 5-tick slip. Thanks, Chris. And as we got down to the lower levels here, we did get a reaction. Okay, so we lost about 20 ticks on that first trade. We gained 21 on the second, so we're flat for the day. Not great, but it is what it is. And the markets do look quite weak. And we did get our wobble around the prior lows, and now we're continuing down. All right, let me back out of this one. Let me get rid of the chart trader so you can actually see the full chart. And the Russell is weak. The Dow is not really selling off. And I would suspect that the S&P's not as well, because the VIX isn't going anywhere. Okay, here's our bounce off of S2 on the S&P. Let's look at the Russell. Russell is way oversold, and I don't see any pivot levels. Okay, we're either way above them or way below them. We did get a sell signal here, but we're way oversold. This is not a high probability trade. I did not mean to say make. I meant to say made. You know how your brain trying to multitask. Okay. We're just going to have to wait now. Let's go ahead and move on. Okay, I'm going to take get something wet my whistle, and I'll be right back. We are getting a bounce in the NASDAQ. Unless it gets over 73.27.5, I'm really probably not that interested. Yes, it could go up there a little bit, but it's probably not going to get a lot of follow through. have to be quiet, please, okay? Sit down. Sit down, please. Okay, we're getting reactions to that down move in the markets. The Dow's not really going anywhere, nor is the VIX. So, to be honest with you, the only true tradables are the NASDAQ and the Russell. Okay. Lincoln Mitchell, are you still here? All right. I need for you to repost at 9:35. You said still a good target, maybe too early with the volatility. I don't know what that means. Maybe that was a comment or a question. I don't know. We are getting a significant bounce on the NASDAQ. And if I go to a 610, which is what I normally trade on, you can see. Yeah, could you, if that's a question you had at 9:35 about the volatility, let me repost it here. You posted that. Is that a question or is that a statement, sir? Oh, okay. And you see how we got above our swing levels, and then we got a buy signal on the system. And basically, you don't need the system except to nominate targets and maybe stops. But the volatility stop that I'm using here is a chandelier stop, and it's available out there. I think I actually paid for it, but and we're pulling back to a prior level. If you hear any noise in the background of dogs barking, my dogs like to control everything in their world. All right, I kind of like anything a movement over here going back up to S1. Yeah, sorry about that. I've got a barkaholic dog, Buddy. He's smart. He's big. He's about 95 pounds, and kind of a lumbering giant, but he's sweet as can be. All right, the system is still long, so it won't give us another long here. But over the levels where the red dots are, see how we're starting to establish ourselves into a new trend to the upside. If it actually gets up there without pulling back too far, that would give us a nice entry for 73.32 half. It's pulling back too far. We're back in the chop. Back in the chop. I have 3 boxers. My daughter and wife adopted them, and my daughter proceeded to run off to the United Kingdom, and my wife works ridiculous hours. So they're my dogs now. Love them to death, but there's some annoying things about them. Okay, so let's see if we can get a bounce back up. Here's partly a potential lightning bolt pattern here. Looking for those, so looking for the move up here, move back, and there's the potential for the lightning bolt. You could also call that a J-hook. I like lightning bolts. Okay, the retracement's too deep for that one really to work, because in here, if you go long there, your stop probably needed to be up here 324 or something, sorry, 325. so it's probably not a player. The Russell can't get started at all, and the Dow is just kind of waiting. I bet you the ES is waiting as well. So the fact that we're flat for the day, we've basically ever so slightly underwater with commissions or whatever. But I normally try to get anywhere between 2 out of every 3, 3 out of every 5. Somewhere around a 60 to 65% win rate, and with that, we'll make some pretty decent money. I want to try to get to 2 contracts if I can, but I want to control my risk first. Anybody have any questions out there? I'd be happy to take those on right now. Looks like the Nasdaq's rolling over, and we're probably heading back down to this S2 level where we bounced off earlier today. And I didn't realize it, but we actually wobbled around the S1 over here to the left. Let's show you what it is here. We broke down below S1, rallied up to it, got a little bit on the other side, get a little bit of the people back long, and then ripped their lips off. And I suspect we'll get a double bottom here. And lots of times we'll establish a trading range between the lows and the highs. So right now we've got a pretty healthy size trading range. Some people, the professional traders that have deep pockets, they'll try to trade the trading range. And I leave that to the bots, either the pros or the black boxes, because my pockets aren't nearly that deep. I want high probability trades. Now, they would take the long there with the short, with the cover, the exit here and stop around 73.15. They make a few ticks and they're gone. A lot of black boxes will only take 1 or 2 ticks, and that's all they really want. Chris, the colored moving averages obviously help you visualize it. It's called a multi-moving average. I believe I got that at Ninjacators. So we're talking, let's see. Let's see. AMA. Nope, it's called Lizard Indicators. Let me look here real quick. I'm going to look to make sure the markets aren't doing anything interesting. No, they're not. I have a moment here. I don't. If I post out anything where I'll say I recommend. I said that I use, and it's a pay service or anything like that, or indicators or whatever. I don't get any feedback. I don't know these people other than just being a customer. And let's see what Lizard does here. Lizard is as Lizard does. The gentleman's based out of Berlin. He goes by the name of Harry, but he's not Harry. The name really isn't Harry. Trying to remember what his real name is. Okay, we're coming back down to the bottoms on the NASDAQ. But they have a whole bunch of really, really fine indicators that are in their library. Fat Tails, he was on Futures.io on NinjaTrader 7. You got a lot of them there. But NinjaTrader 8, it's $150 for a lifetime license for all of his indicators. And I went ahead and signed up because I loved his stuff that I got on NinjaTrader 7 on Futures.io. See how we're bouncing here off of the bottom here? And we're really trying to continue in the range. Let's see what a 10 does here. to stay with the smaller time frame there. We're still chopping in both the Russell and the Dow. Boy, this Nasdaq is kind of giving me the idea that it wants to break lower. All right. Well, if it breaks below.
Order pending.
If it breaks below S1 on this go round, we'll probably get a nice sell-off, but I'm thinking it's not going to do that. It's going to rally here enough for me to probably pull the plug if we get a close above 73.23, 73.24. I'm going to cancel the trade. Futures.io is a website. They have free indicators, but they also have a lifetime license, I believe. Well, when I got it, it was under $100, and I get their elite stuff. The one thing is, if you're going, yeah, okay, it's $100 now, but it was under $100 back then. Maybe it was only $60 for a lifetime license or whatever. If you're going to be serious about this as made a business, you have to have the tools. And for
Order
me,
canceled.
indicators are one of the main tools here. Well, we're going back up. Are we going to get over 25?
Order pending.
Yeah.
Order
I'll
canceled.
cancel this one. We're not really getting a move up enough. 610. Yeah, this is definitely not going to do it because we do 26.25 to 33. I don't have time to do all that. What I do is I have a running tally of what I have. I mean, if you're looking for, let me pull this up. I'll tell you what I do. I could do it after the fact, but I'm definitely not doing it. You can look over my shoulder and you see where the entries are and you can see where the exits are. Okay. I keep a spreadsheet. You won't be able to see it here, but I have every one of my trades plus 45, minus 45, plus 125, minus 55, plus 90, plus 120, minus 30. You can see how I had all the trades. And every day I put in each individual trade. And I come up with a summation. I figured that, one, you're here, you're looking over my shoulder. Oh, we just dropped out. Damn it. Damn it. All right, we're going to get a reaction off of the S2. Let's get a bounce back up. I want that bounce and then the rollover from the bounce. There's the bounce. And let's make sure that, see if it doesn't, it gets over here. We're getting a little bit too much of a reaction. They got people short, and now they're making them regret their short. So maybe it was a good thing that I wasn't launching. Thanks, Lincoln. Okay. We're got a Chopville here. You can see it. Okay, we can get up.
Order pending.
I put a buy stop in above the swing levels here around
Order
73.25. And it went up there and tagged me. Let's see if it follows through. And what I want to do is see if we can. Okay, we're still got the momentum pointing upward, so I'm going to try to give it a shot and see if it'll tag me there. Come on, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Come on. Keep going,
Target
baby.
filled.
Okay. I probably underestimated it a little bit. We got $100 on that 20 ticks, so all right, that was a movement up, reversal. Let me back off a little bit on this so you see we don't no movement whatsoever in the Dow. We get a little bit of a reaction in the Russell. It's one of the weaker ones here, and not much in the VIX. The VIX is really going to be a Dow and ES indicator, but it does give me the indication that the pullback is happening, or should be happening, in those big. And there you see with the crude oil, I keep that up. And let's do a 5-minute of the ES. I'll show you that. And we get a little bit of a rally going in the S&P. Yeah, but it's still range bound. So, okay. It's Ant code. Okay. So that's what it is you got to see my entry, my exit for each one. I have not in the past posted every trade. That's a lot of paperwork. And I don't know what the benefit is if you're here watching. What you really ought to be really interested in, I believe, is not each individual trade, but the summation of them on a daily basis. Now, what I want to do is I want to point out to you that if anybody tells you that they don't have losing trades, or if they tell you they have a 90% or 80% win rate, grab a hold of your wallet and run the other way as fast as you can. You can see right in here, we're doing very well at 85% return on our $8,000 account. But we've got some pretty hefty losing days. We've got some pretty good winning days too. But I'm open kimono here. I'll have good days and bad days. And sometimes I'm in sync with the market, some days I'm not. So the whole idea is that if somebody is telling you that they have this way that you're going to make $12,000 a month, that's bullshit. I'm sorry, and you just need to run the other way. I'm going to tell you the way it is, not only the way I see it, but the way it really is, I suspect. NASDAQ's still running. I didn't get a stop out, even though I did stop myself out when it hit my target. Technically, if I had wanted to do this, we took the long over 25. Our target was basically around here at 32. We would have had to give it a bit of room because you see where we did a wobble around this level here, equated to that, and it kind of zigzagged, and then it kind of took off once it realized that that was no longer going to be a reversal point. And you'll see that the lime green dots are the volatility stop, and the black dots are the system's trailing stop. And I use some sort of combination thereof. I use both of them because right in here, if you were long, the volatility stop is down here and the system stop had not computed yet. There are other times where the system computed dot will go on for a long time and I want to enter and chase a little bit. Okay, great. Thanks, Lincoln. Now, I have the extra burden of trying to moderate at the same time I'm trading. I'm using live real money. So a lot of times your people are going to cherry pick their trades. And when they do trade, they're not trading. Oh, there goes the ES. They're not trading live money, real money. I am. Now, as far as brokerage accounts and stuff like that, I can talk to you guys about that a little later. But right now, let's see, futures brokers. I did this a little while ago. My assessment is that you really have to watch and see how much these people are going to charge you, not just the commission, but the total charge, including platform fees. Now, I already had NinjaTrader, so that wasn't a big deal. So the platform is irrelevant to me. Because I have a lifetime license, it's 53 cents a contract, so it's about $3.50 round trip for one contract. Oh, I love them. I love it. Now, I've had a couple of glitches inside NinjaTrader 8 where the other day, Thursday night, it just bombed out and wouldn't let me in. I had to use NinjaTrader 7 to trade on Friday, and that was... I hadn't done that in 6 months, Chris, and it... oh, man. It was painful. It was like Friday the 13th all over again. But I traded, and I probably should have traded in sim... I traded in sim mode. The $45 that I showed there was all in sim mode until I got my system back up. I don't know. I don't have Windows 10. I use Windows 7, so... But like reinstalling it, actually it wasn't that bad. Once I was told what to do, it took a while to get the responses back. I think they lost my ticket, but they're usually very, very good. They respond within an hour. Email, but they're really, really responsive. Setting up for the trade you mentioned earlier, were you talking about the NASDAQ or were you talking about the ES what? Please. Are you talking about NQ? Well, NQ, I don't know what you talk about over 73.32 or, yeah, everything's new. Yeah, well, once we moved away from... Yeah, just 73.55 or so. Is that what you're talking about? The new day high. See, we're back up into the 5-minute opening range. That's what the shaded area is, and we're running into a little bit of resistance around there. And it gave a little buy signal, which I think is garbage. It ought to be filtered out. This one's way too small. Probably ought to filter out 15 or less, to be honest with you. All right. My momentum oscillator is starting to wane a little bit, and the R squeeze is already pulled back. So there are no longs to be had right here. In fact, if you broke down below 39.25, you're probably going to get a move down to 330 to 34 in a heartbeat. But I'm not set up for that. We're not set up for that because we still have our trend up, going upward. What I need to get is the zigzag pattern, lightning bolt, inverted J-hook, whatever you want to call it. Because what I want to do is I want to see a move. Whoops. Grabbed the wrong one. I want to see the move down, the reaction back up, and then I have to decide where I go short. If it does do that, do I go short and wait for the break or not. But we've got to go lower. Right now we're just going sideways. And as you can tell, more than anything else, I use price levels. You don't really need a whole lot of indicators. The ones I use for the momentum are just to be secondary indicators. The Dow is pulling back now. So is the S&P. Russell, I don't know that I like that long there, but Russell right now has a new range established between, let's call it 94 and 07, 08. Now this one's giving a long indication right here, but I'm not sure I buy it. It could. What I want to do is to get an established uptrend or downtrend and trade it with the tide going in my direction. No. Don't even look at them, to be honest with you. Sorry. They might. I use the trader pivots here just to be aware of them, although I don't trade them. Notice how we came back to S1 again. A lot of market makers do that. What do I mean by price levels? What did we trade this morning? First one, I tried long on a breakout over, I guess that was over this level here of 48 and a quarter. Then you notice where you've got the swing levels here, all the dots. And I go over here and look to the left. I'm looking for a breakdown below those, a breakdown below here. And let me mark it up a little better than that, Steve. I like that setup right there because we got a break below here for a movement lower. I like to use the swing levels. What the author of the NetPick system calls them exhaustion levels. There's minor, I call the bottom or top of the 5-minute opening range minor resistance because some people use them. That means I just need to be aware. So if I'm in a trade and let's just say that I'm short and it gets down towards there, I need to be aware that I'm probably going to get a wobble. Doesn't mean it's going to stop it. It might, but it doesn't mean it's going to definitely stop it. Just like S1 didn't stop it on the way down. S1 kind of stopped it on the way up. Stock is going to go where you want to go. Price levels are key, and breaking swing levels is key. Now I'm using it on a 610 Unirenco 6-tick with a 10 reversal. I have been using a 1014. Lately, I ran across a gentleman on Facebook, actually. And he says he trades only the NQ and uses a 1014 and looks for breaks of levels like this broke 25 quarter that we saw. Our target was only about here around 33. His target might have been either target 1 here at 31.75 and maybe target 2 up at 30, 39, 34, something like that. And it's having trouble as it gets over there into the prior resistance level. So I usually try to have both of those on an NQ. Now you don't get the lightning bolt patterns that as much on the 1014 as you do 610. But once those 1014s get going, they're pretty nice. Like this was a nice run up. I was long it. I took my profit too early, and here's the problem that I've got at the moment, because I'm trying to manage my risk. I'm having to take the fact that I only have one contract, and because I only have one contract, I have to decide where to take money. If I had two contracts or multiples of two, I could take target one or target two for the very first trade, take it, first contract, take it off the table, and then trail out the remainder. And when you do that, you can get your large runners. Let's just say that you went from 25, and where did it get stopped out? It got stopped out at 41. So 25, 35, 16 times 4. Oh God, my brain's gone to mush. That's 64 ticks on the second contract, and we got 20 plus 21. I call it just 20. Yeah, we got 85 ticks. That'd be $425. That's the power of quitting. But I wasn't trading two. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. The reason I'm not trading two is that because if I did that, I would be having to risk $250 to $300 on the trade, and I don't want to do that. That's not the game plan I've been using. So I'm taking my profits out of the middle. Nah. Chris, I got my hands full with just three indices right now. So no. Now I will if I have if I have no trading, nothing tradable or whatever, I'll look over to the crude oil. Oh, I did want to do 08 again. I need to get rid of that one. 09. And now, the problem with crude is it moves. The good thing about crude is it moves. The bad thing about crude is it moves. You can lose money quickly, very quickly in crude oil. You need to be extremely careful. Okay. Yeah, 918. So we're kind of settling back down into chop. And what happens in the futures markets that I see is that we get lots of times where we're really not trending. We're just kind of drifting, staying pretty close to where we are, and then and it runs like crazy for a minute or two or 5, and then it goes back into snoozeville again. So you got to be ready. You got to be watching. You got to pounce on those opportunities that present themselves. And I read an article that talked about I'll call them opportunity costs, but it's basically if you miss an entry, there's a payback to that, because if you miss, let's say we miss all of this run and didn't even get 20. If you miss this would make your day and make your week. $425 is probably not, is over half of a very nice week. Yeah, Lincoln, I mean, it's a double-edged sword. Okay, the NASDAQ is pulling back and it broke through a support level. While I'm sitting here talking, it broke down. And, okay, now I'm looking for the lightning bolt. I'm looking for the reaction. I have my reasons as to why I think this happens, but I think a lot of it happens is that, one, they're trying to get people to say, this is an obvious level. Let's go down there, get them short, then rip it back up to the upside and rip their lips off. And part of it is, Oh, it's going to go lower. Well, let's take it up a little bit so we can get short. Get rid of our longs and go short. Now, 334 is a plateau. I don't really like the fact that this is a very gradual decline here. I do like where I'm seeing the momentum oscillator. Probably a scalp here.
Order pending.
Okay, and I'm going to take, if I get 10 ticks, I'm going to take the 10 ticks. We're starting to get the rollover in the trend. And I probably ought to be on the other side of 0, 0. Okay. I should never be at a 5 or a 0, but you get too many of them in the NASDAQ. But I don't want to be on a round number. So I'm at 36.75. All right. Surprisingly, we're not picking up a lot of steam to the downside. And the big idea here is that we're positive, we're green for the day, and we want to stay that way.
Order filled.
Okay, and see if we can get going here. I'm going to set up target 2, and if I can get 10 ticks, I'll take 10 ticks. And looks like it's trying. Well, the momentums are down. Trend's down. I got to give it a little room. Don't get too excited, but you know, it is going against me a little bit. We got to give it room to breathe. If it gets over 41.5, I probably am in the wrong side. So we'll see. The odds are that it should continue lower, but we'll see. If it comes back up and takes us out, it does. Just have to give it some room, let it decide that it wants to go lower. All right, if we get down below 35.5, it should pick up some steam to the downside. So let's see how that goes. And okay, we're going to be taken out.
Stop filled.
Okay, we're basically flat for the day now. I managed to take 4 trades. Is it? Or 3? 3. No, 4. And we're flat. The thought process here, whether it's right or wrong, the thought process is, if it's going to potentially break and make a big runner, I need to be in it. I don't need to be wishy-washy about it. Doesn't mean that I also can't go short again if it rolls back down. Now, I need to know that my stop would have to be up over 73.44. And if I'm 36, that's 12. 44, 12. That's 8 times 4. That's 24 ticks. Okay. Can I live with that? Probably. Looks like the R squeeze is going up. So I would short right about where the R squeeze got to its ultimate bottom. And we're back into chop. We'll see where it goes from there. Looks like it's, still looks like it's in chop. Okay, we're looking at 10:23. At 10:30, we'll have a major reversal point. We have minor reversal at 9:35. That's where we get the first flurry of out of the gate. We get the retail traders take over the first 5 minutes, and after that, the pros. And around 10 o'clock and at 10:30. Why those times? Probably because it's a half hour into each of the trading. But the other thing is, We have economic reports that come out at 10 and 10:30 a lot. All right. Nothing going here, nothing to see. Russell had a short there, just didn't get a lot of follow through. And some of these days we just don't get follow through. All right, we're starting to get the push down lower again. And I'm going to
Order pending.
see if we get this going. And probably the target's going to be somewhere around 73.25. If it doesn't come down to there, the trend line and everything, the trend and whatever, if it still keeps wobbling right here, that's going to flatten out. If it rolls down right now and goes over there, the trend will be established to the downside. But it doesn't look like it wants to do that. If it goes a little bit higher here, I'm going to have to probably cancel out, and that's what I'm going to do.
Order canceled.
Okay, it's in chop. My stop would have to be too far away. The momentum is not going to be there. So we're out. Yeah, okay. Thanks, Chris. I trade crude oil on the inventory report on Wednesday/Thursday, whenever it released. Thursday on days that they have a Monday holiday. And we're just kind of looking at Snoozeville here at the moment. Yep, and I let it go a couple of minutes in, and we can explain that on Wednesday when you guys are here. I know I'm going to jinx myself, but we've had a pretty good track record of making money on crude oil. Let the dust settle and then get yourself a good setup. Be patient. Get a good 10 to 15 ticks and get the hell out. And if you look at Wednesdays, two of them are really big loss days. Over $400 losses, and I think that's as much to do with the crude trade going the wrong way. But some of our biggest winning days are also in crude oil report. Okay, Nasdaq's in rally mode here. Going back up towards a intermediate high, 73.48 to 50. I'm seeing the possibility.
Order pending.
Okay, and looks like. Other markets aren't really cooperating. And it looks like we're still in that range bound. And unless it turns right around right now and goes higher and continues higher, it's not going to look very good. If I go long here at 50 basically, I'm saying that I think it goes up to the high of the day and then maybe some. And that's not necessarily going to happen here with the momentums that I see it. No, Chris, they're not. That's why I'm hoping that we're going to go to our own room, maybe room 4, and we'll convert. This is kind of the open room at the moment. I don't like what I'm seeing. I'm going to cancel this buy.
Order canceled.
And so therefore we'll have a nice clean folder that's only related to us. Okay, we got a sell signal, but it's still in chop, so we're not going to take that. We'll keep an eye on it, see if we could get an acceleration to the downside.
Order pending.
Okay, now looking for a break. Looks like the momentums are both pointing lower. The S&P is going lower, the Dow's going lower. So maybe that'll help. Yeah. Okay. We want to
Order canceled.
probably want to get the zigzag pattern first. Dow. The Dow did a break above 2,500. It's 2,505. It did a break here, but you had support here at 93, and it didn't hold, but you never know. So that was one of the reasons why I passed that one up, but it turned out that it worked. Russell. Now, the Russell just went through a swing level, and probably a short would be in order. Too late. We needed to go short here at 94. I'm not going to chase it. Maybe we get a zigzag here. Up. We're getting closer to the bottom. Okay. The NQ did penetrate that level. Let's wait and see if we get the bounce. Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't. It looks like we're not going to get it this time. Well, maybe we will. Trying to set up our lightning bolt pattern here. We went into some little minor support here to the left. Let's see what happens. I'd like for it actually to climb back up to 37 to 38 and then roll over. Otherwise, I'm going short at 32 with really only 24 and a half. Okay, that's okay. Just look at it, reward the risk. We got the 36 half. Probably don't want to get above that 37 to 38 level, really. The volatility stops right here at 37, and the short on that system trade, it made target 2, which is weird. But it stopped. It's up here at 37 3/4. Needs to roll over right here, or we're not going to be able to trade this one. All right, I do like the trend here. A little on the weak side for the oscillators. They're not as convincing as they could be. Let's put it that way. We're getting a bounce in the Russell. And a little bit of bounce in the Dow, a little bit of bounce in the S&P. We're going a little too high. This one's just not going to work. Okay, we'll just have to be patient and wait. What if we had purchased, we'd gone short on the break? Look at alternative. We probably could have picked up 10 or 15 ticks. It could have been a scalp. But that's all. It's not what I'm after. $73.42. Well, mine showed short entry 73.41 on my computer with a stop of 47 3/4. So it was up here, but then the stop lowered all the way down to 37. So it would have been a minor profit following the system. Yeah, they're pretty close. I went on one tick. Yeah. You're talking about the blue dots here. These blue dots and these orange dots are swing trades. I think they're built directly into NinjaTrader 8. On 7, I don't know. But they're swing. Let me go to indicators. Swing. And I have a strength of 3. You can't see what I've got here, but okay. Trying to describe to you what I see. So go to indicators and look down under swing and see if you see that. If not, I should be able to send you something, allow you to get that. Now, I only have NinjaTrader 8. I do have some NinjaTrader 7. I can't spend a whole lot of time trying to help people on a system that's behind us. I'm being a bit of a hard ass, I know. But okay. I thought they did. All right, we're getting our rally in the NASDAQ. Let's see. We're getting a rally in the Russell as well. Not seeing any big swing levels that I'm going to want a penetration of about 96.5 on the Russell here. And again, want our lightning bolt. Don't want the pullback to be too deep, but we want a break above this 96.5 level and a pullback to slightly near it or below it, and then see what happens. And there's the 96.5 level. I'm really concerned about the fact that the momentum oscillators are very flat. That really means that we don't have a whole lot of momentum. Now, NASDAQ, we're trying to go back up to that 50 level. Want to break above it and some sort of retracement. All right, thanks, Chris. Okay, we're approaching on the NASDAQ, approaching resistance level around 73.48. I expect some sort of wobble here. And more than just a wobble at the moment. My overall bias is that the markets are pulling back a little bit, but they're still looking bullish. So that's the overall overriding. Oops, didn't mean to do that. And the ES is basically flat. Nasdaq's down 15. Russell down 2 and Dow down 40. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, there's the breakout in Nasdaq, mini breakout. Still have to get over this 49 and change. We did do that little wobble that we were talking about. Russell is getting up there. It's still not for the high of the days, but we're at the bottoms. We're getting a lot of motion in the Nasdaq. Got a flurry of activity as we passed 50. Nice round number. And that's when we got the pop. ES is getting a push. Russell getting a little bit of a push. So buyers stepping up a little bit. New highs of the day for the Nasdaq. Over 55, we could have been long, but that's 20/20 hindsight. Thanks, David. Now I've got the ES here on the chart in the upper left. The only true trading vehicles right now are the Russell and Nasdaq. Russell's trying to pull back a little bit. It needs that little rest. Let's see if we get our lightning bolt patterns going. Let me show you one thing here. Because we've been grinding today, the 4 Udarenko was kind of a winner here. So sometimes you may have to change your perspective as far as your setups go. We got up to that 73.60 there, Lincoln. Well, notice how we came back and did a retracement. You can't see it there. We got up to the top of the opening range, 5-minute opening range, and kind of wobbled to win above it. And then we pulled back to it. We're a little bit oversold. I think we break down below it. That's what the chart's telling me. It wants to break lower. We have a minor break level at 53.25 and a more major one down at, call it 51. So I want to get penetration of those lows, get the trend going down, and then kind of a reversion to the mean rally, and then a failure. Sweet, Lincoln, sweet. We're coming up on 10:45. We're almost finished for the morning session. Some people are members of RWO and they need to leave at 11, which is fine. I'm probably going to trade 9:30 to 11:30-ish. Somewhere, well, we could have already gotten it. Somewhere most mornings here, between 10:30 and 11, we get a run. We got an upwards run on the NASDAQ at about 10:33, 10:40. Yeah, say 10:31 to 10:33 to about 40. That's where most of the run was. Chop City in the S&P, Chop City in the Dow, pulling back on both the NASDAQ and Russell. I've got a little bit of got a small buy here in the NASDAQ. I wanted this one to come down and penetrate 50. All right, crude oil. For those who are adventurous, this one looks like it's setting up for a long somewhere over about 68, 64. But it'd be a counter trend trade. Probably only a scalp for about 10, maybe 15 ticks. But each tick is $10. NASDAQ's trying to pull back. It's getting down close to my level that I was looking for. Looks like we're getting a reaction off that 53 level on NASDAQ. Starting to pull back a little bit in Russell and the Dow. Next level of support on the Russell is around 50. Sorry, the NASDAQ is around 50. we should get down around 50, and I suspect a bounce at 50. Didn't get that low before we got our bounce. Oil is kind of stabilizing. Russell's still pulling back. Oh, are we having fun yet? And we're starting to break higher on oil. I usually trade a 377 tick chart on oil, crude, and look for 10 or 15 ticks and then out. Crude is, I'll use 610. Okay. What was I going to say? There's the move in crude. Still got crude is a very, very much a that it goes around price levels. $68.29. Well, that was down at the low. I don't know. I'd have to see your chart. We could talk about it. Okay. And the NASDAQ is bouncing, negating any short. We could potentially be getting a long trade here.
Order pending.
Put a little over 73.60 quarter. Yeah, it sure doesn't look good.
Order canceled.
That's too close to chop. Be patient, Steve. Be patient. All right, need to step away for 2 seconds and I'll be right back. Stay there. pulling back. Kind of chopping around here in the NASDAQ. Chopping around in the Russell with an upward bias. I'll be patient on any trades here. At least I'll try to be. Yep, not a lot of energy. Up or down, right? The ES is flat. NASDAQ is minus 450, which is flat. Russell down 3, which is flat. And the Dow is down 26, which is flat. Flat and splat. Excuse me. My apologies for coughing in your ears. That one snuck up on me. All right. Russell's pulling back. All right, looking for maybe a bounce before we could actually get in that one short. Looking at the NASDAQ, also looking short. Maybe, but it's not as pronounced. Okay, we had a break under 95 for the Russell. Will it do a bounce there for us so we can get short? The target on the Russell will only be down 93, so we're talking 20 ticks or so. Not all that impressive, really. Looks like the S&P looks like it's trying to rally a bit. Yeah, we're looking at that 2805 area. See what happens there. 2803. Nope. What does that say? Put the chalupa down and walk away. One of our traders says that his wife comes and steals his the battery into his mouse occasionally. Just to get him to stop trading. Got that bounce in the Russell. Do you guys hear the dogs in the background? I do apologize. There's not much I can do about it, short of killing them. Yeah, I've got the door shut, and that's Buddy. That's the Barkaholic dog. Maybe getting our rollover in the Russell, we hope. Well, I think my son's here with his dog. Gonna drop her off while he goes to work.
Order pending.
See what happens there. NASDAQ looks us in rally mode again. Okay.
Order canceled.
Canceling that short in the Russell.
Order pending.
I kind of sense a possible breakout in the NASDAQ.
Order canceled.
Come on, minimize, dude.
Order pending. Order canceled.
Stalking is short in an NQ right now.
Order pending. Order cancelled.
I'm a little leery of 73.50. If I go short right above it, I'm going to let it penetrate down below that. See if it bounces and does our lightning roll pattern.
Order filled.
This will be probably our last trade of the morning, last opportunity to get green for the day. We're short at 48.50 and stop up here at 54.25. And the 50 area was pretty important. Probably should have gone ahead and shorted it anyway up there higher. Now we've got battling this 47 over here to the left. Oh, you guys can't see it. This level right about here, 47. So we just kind of let it play itself out. Our momentum is still going down, a little less so. This level here at 52 would have been better. 2020 hindsight. Now the trend down is kind of weakening just a fraction. And we can see that in the R squeeze down at the bottom here. It's got to go back over to get that back into the red. But it sure doesn't look that way. We need to stop right here at level right here around 51 and a half. It's got to be the upper bound of the bounce. All right, now we need to take out 46 half. Come on, down you go. You know you want to go down. And our squeeze is going back into the red. We'll see what happens here. 46 3/4 is a key, that swing level there. If we bust that, I think we get a pretty healthy push to the downside. Come on, don't bounce on it. You've got people who are thinking that that's where it's going to do a double bottom. They're going to play a double bottom. Whether it happens or not, it's another story. I'm going to go ahead and lower my stop down to above those swings, because if it gets back up there, I just do not want to be in it. We're battling to go lower. That 48.5 to 50 is key. Got to give it a little bit of room to see if it will actually just finally give up the ghost at 47. Really tough day trading today. I'd like to finish this off with a winner, but you know, it happens whatever it does. Okay, keep going lower. Come on, we got to get below 47. Below 47. Having trouble with that 47 level. Way to go, Bob. That's scalping, isn't it? We're around. The trend is ever so slightly to the downside. The momentums are slightly to the downside. Got to get below 47, and we're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. Just spent way too much time right there at that 47 level. And if it won't go lower, they're going to take it higher. And I've lowered this to stop to 52 and a quarter, and it's going to take us out. It's got to roll over right here, or I'm dead.
Stop filled.
Okay, I'm done. Minus 85 for the day. Sorry, folks. Just Marcus just did not want to cooperate with me today. Either I'm out of sync or it's in chop and I'm not recognizing it. Anyway, all right. Anyway, if you guys have any questions, I'll stick around for a few minutes to answer any questions you might have.